For Brandon Follett.
Give it up for your host, everybody. Joey told me to come up here and say some jokes right away, but there's something that's been heavy on my heart lately, and when you have a platform like I do, I'm at the very good beer spot right now. You gotta get it out of your chest. There's a group of men in the north part of this country right now really causing a ruckus. A group of mostly white men that for the last 6 months have just really been beating up on minorities throughout the whole country. You guys all know who I'm talking about? The New England Patriots are back in the Super Bowl, everybody. Let's go, Pats. And with all the news of the Super Bowl, are you guys all ready for the halftime show this year? There's been a lot of news about the Super Bowl. I can't believe that this company is having somebody that can't even speak English headline a Super Bowl. Can you guys believe it? Kid Rock can't speak any English at all. Bound chicka bounty, bounty, bound, bitty bitty, bound to the bound. What the hell is he saying? Oh my goodness, I knew that he was going to help Turning Point USA. Kid Rock has a soft spot in his heart for these kind of situations. If you guys don't remember, he was married to Pamela Anderson. And she also had a viral video of getting blunt force trauma to the face and neck area. That went pretty viral. These have been my Super Bowl jokes, everybody. You can clap for me right now. They also dance, puppets dance. These are my firefighter table over here. Jack's dad owns a massage parlor, and I actually just sent one of our firefighters over there, and I told him, I was like, hey, there's a secret code if you want to get jerked off. You just have to pat your head. So this guy sat in Jack's dad's massage parlor for 45 minutes just patting his head while he showed up to work with a huge bruise on the side of his head. You guys didn't like that one. Here comes another. But I think that this room looks like what a tampon first sees when it's first entered into a body. Richard Aragon has lost 160 pounds. Let's give it up for that one more time. My wife weighs 160 pounds. He lost a whole one of my wife. That's crazy. The fact that he lost, I would have loved and taken care of so good for my whole entire life. Joey asked the secret to a long marriage, and you guys said, what did you say? You said communication, blah, blah, blah. He said time apart. I believe that's good. Here's the real secret. I've been married for 1.5 years, and I'll let you know. But I figured it all out already. I get my wife skin moisturizing creams, and then I take a picture of her that is pretty much blackface. And I say, if you leave me, I'm going to post this everywhere. We're in Florida right now. I love Florida. I used to be in the United States Navy. I've been blessed to travel all over this great nation and all over the world. I've lived in Washington State. I lived in California. I lived in Sicily for a long time. But I love living in Florida the best. I was living in California towards the end of the old COVID time. And I would come visit my family in Ocala, Florida, about 90 miles south of here, because you guys could go outside and stuff. And I accidentally, towards the end, I brought a little bit of the California with me when I was visiting. My dad picked me up from the airport, and we went into Publix to get some of these famous subs that we all love. And just out of instinct, when we went in, I went and put a mask on my face. Don't do that here. The oldest man in the world, he looked like you, sir, in the back with the pizza, but the oldest man in the world shoulder checked me and was like, pussy. So I took my mask off. I took my mask off and I coughed on him. He's dead now. I did that. You guys are looking at me, you're like, what don't I like about this guy? And I'll tell you right now, I know that I have the worst case of Republican face of all time. Happy Black History Month. But I have such that people look at me and they're like, we know who you voted for just by looking at me. And that's so rude. And I'm like, they're right, but I don't like that they just guess. On the way here, I have such a bad Republican face, and I was getting gas on the way here, and an old, bald, white guy, he looked at me. He looked at me with a tear in his eye. He's like, "We did it, brother. We saved America." I'm pretty much centered down the line, but I did do a very Republican thing last year, and it's coming up on the year mark, and I went to the Daytona 500. Yeah, give it up for NASCAR, I guess. But this guy just wants to clap. He wants to be part of the. He's like, they're clapping over there. But NASCAR's such a weird situation. It's such a weird sport because it's the only sport where you go and watch it all day, and then you do it on the way home. Kinda drunk. You don't take your grandma and grandpa to a football game and then tackle Nana in the parking lot. But when I was there, I was there and I was in my naval uniform because I'm still in the Navy Reserves. And they told me right before it all started, they're like, "Hey, you guys are going to stand right behind the President of the United States." And I was nervous because I was like, they keep shooting at this guy. And his ears ain't that thick. But he shook my hand. He shook this hand right here, and you can tell it's still a little orange. But ever since then, this hand, it keeps doing how do you say? I always forget. It keeps grabbing pussies everywhere I go. It's terrible to drive. But everything in this world must be balanced. And if this hand's sexually assaulting women everywhere I go, sir, with the old man, come up. It's your lucky day. Because this hand, it's gay now. I'm gonna jerk you off after this show. But yes, I did. I shook the president's hand. Hush. But it's my turn to talk, everybody. I shook the president's hand, and you feel no matter which way, if you're on the news, you shake the president's hand, you feel very American that day. But that day, you're on all the major news channels, and when you wake up the next day, there'll be about 10,000 people calling you fat online. So I've been trying to lose weight over the last year. I tried to do the carnivore diet. Any of you guys ever heard about that? I'm dyslexic. I thought it was the carnival diet. I spent 2 months just eating cotton candy and hot dogs. I gained 60 pounds. I used to live inside of Richard Aragon. But anyways, shut up. But the men are talking. I like to do all these trendy diets, but I don't stick to them. And I like one of the parts of going on a diet, and ladies, this is what men do, but we will take a before and an after picture. And every man in here knows that if you take a before and after picture, there's a uniform you wear. You get your ugliest underwear, and you put them on, and you stand in front of the mirror, and you take a only underwear picture, not sexy at all. You guys don't get to see this. But I don't stick to these diets. And I try a new one like every 2 months. So if I drop dead right now, and you went through my phone, there's just a slow progression of me getting fatter and fatter and fatter in my underwear. I have been trying to lose weight, so I've been going to the gym as well. And I was in the gym earlier today. I go to Crunch Fitness. And I was doing what all guys do at the gym. And I was eavesdropping on the girls next to me. And I found out a secret about women today. Girls, listen up. I know you guys like it when white guys tell you about your bodies. But I learned that there's a gym machine in the gym that can give some girls orgasms. Have you ever heard of this, ma'am, in the front? You haven't heard of it? Have you heard of it? Women should be in charge of everything, guys.
Obviously.
Yes, obviously. Apparently this machine in the gym where you pull your leg back gives some girls orgasms. You guys should be in charge of everything right now, because if there was a machine in the gym that gave a man an orgasm, no one would be here right now. Richard would have lost 400 pounds already. If the lat pull-down machine gave a guy an orgasm, there would be a line out the door at 24-Hour Fitness 3 miles long. And everybody would just be walking around like this all day. And if you think that the gyms are disgusting now, wait until everybody's just edging on the machines. Those white gym towels are like a slightly yellow crust. Like the Declaration of Independence. Do you think it's old, or do you think those old white guys just jerked off? Guns, baby! Yes. Yeah, girls should be in charge of everything, though. I believe in you. You run for president. Like I said earlier, I was in the Navy. I was in the Navy for like 9.5 years, and I dated this girl in Sicily that I got out of the Navy and moved to California for. And then she broke up with me as soon as I did that. That wasn't the punchline, man. I'm gonna strangle this lady. I should have known it wasn't gonna work out. As you guys can see, I'm like clearly a Cancer. But, and if you look outside, the moon's in Gatorade or something. And she was, I always forget, what do you call those girls that are born in January? Do you know? That's right, a bitch. But I was single in California for about 1 year, and I went on terrible dates. And they're all terrible because I'm not the brightest person, as you guys can tell. I went on this date with this one girl who lived in a halfway house. Do you guys know what that is? I thought it was a studio apartment situation. I got there, I was like, damn, this girl has a ton of sisters. Stop clapping, whoever's clapping. I'm gonna cut your fucking hands off. But I went on a date with this other girl, and in California, it's super expensive. So if you break up, you just kind of Jack and Jill it until the lease is up. And you just go over while the other one's at work. So I go over to visit this girl, and her ex-boyfriend's shoes are by the front door. And he wore a size 16 and a half.
Oh, shit.
So I just fucking left.
Yeah.
I have a penis. That guy had a cock. I went on this other date. This one's a cool story, but I went on this one date with a girl. Date went well. Showed up at her house. Plastic wrap over all of the furniture in the living room. I thought Dexter was gonna stab me or something. And I asked her what it was about, and this is a little crude, ladies, I'm sorry, but she said, well, I'm a squirter, and I like to do it in the living room. And that was awesome, everybody. But it was awesome until I was driving home that night, about 2:30 in the morning, and I started to think about who else in my life that I know that also has plastic wrap over all of their furniture. Can you guys think of anybody in your life? That's right, your Nana was making a mess. Now, I moved to Florida when I knew I wanted to marry my wife. And my wife is wonderful, she's beautiful. She used to also live inside of Richard Aragon. I thought that was funny. Fuck y'all. But my wife works with the special needs people. As you guys can tell, she obviously married me. I like to joke around that I know that I look like if Buzz Lightyear had Down syndrome. But I went to a Special Olympics basketball game this weekend. I didn't like how many times they tried to throw me the ball. I coach a Special Olympics basketball league, and I love working with the Special Olympics. They all have sex as well, like Richard said. But they're tricking you guys. They look like nice young men out there, right? Sweet, big faces. They're bad, dirty boys. They send pictures of their penis to they have cocks too, but they send dick pics to my wife's phone every single night. As soon as the sun goes down, her phone starts going off like a Special Olympics scoreboard. That's a terrible example. They don't score a lot of points. I got this one boy, and every time you pass him the ball, no matter where on the court, he's gonna shoot it and he'll go, trains. I was like, Michael, why are you yelling trains when you shoot the ball? He goes, well, you say bird every time you shoot. He goes, I hate birds. He's like, but I fucking love trains. So I punished them. Thank you, guys. I have to punish them for sending dick pics to my wife's phone, though, so I make them run suicides at practice. And after like 3 minutes, they're like, I'm not going to do the voice for you guys, but they're like, Coach, why are you doing this to us? I said, do you know how embarrassing it is to have the smallest dick pic on my wife's phone? I've always loved working with the Special Olympics because, does anybody have autism in here? Don't lie, I saw y'all walk in. I was never diagnosed with autism. I was given the ADHD when I was a child. And as ADHD kids, we were always jealous of the Aussies because they had like a superpower. You ask an Aussie, what's 6 times 17 plus 54, and they go, doop, 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 467. You ask an ADHD person, Mr. Trains over here is correcting my fucking math. What did you name this place, the freshest beer spot or whatever? ask an ADHD person, what's 17 plus 25 plus 14? I'll go, doop doop doop, doop 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 doop, doop doop doop, doop 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 doop. That's Simitron Life, everybody. Yeah. But one thing I don't like about being married is that I can't find anything anymore. My wife moves all of my shit all the time. I was single for 30 years, never lost anything. Married 1.5 years, can't find anything. So I call my grandpa. I call my grandpa to tell him this stuff. I have to call him all the time. My grandma died about 3 months ago. And I call him the other day, I say, hey, Papa, what are you doing? He goes, just taking off all the plastic wrap off all the furniture. And I always ask him for his advice. But there's a thing about my grandpa that you guys probably won't understand, is that he doesn't look like me. Both my grandpas are actually African American men, all the way black. They both married white women. So I have 2 biracial parents. And I'm the only sibling with every white genetic possible. They knew it too. I'm the youngest. My brother's name is Kane, Marshawn, my sister Jillian. When my white ass slid out, they said, that's a Brandon right there. I had to go to a family event this last weekend, and they're ready for me. As soon as I walk in, they're like, look at Brandon. He can't say the N-word. Like, yeah, but I'm the only one that can get out of a ticket in this whole room right now. When you're raised and around African American women your whole life, it affects what you are attracted to later. I've been attracted to black women as long as I can possibly remember. And I told you many times in the set, I'm not that smart. I just recently found out last week that Medea is played by Tyler Perry. It's called the Guinness Book of World Records is because I don't know what the world record for a white guy, straight man jerking off to a black guy is, but pretty sure I got it. Speaking about big men in dresses, like I said, I'm going to leave you guys on this one. I lived in California for the last year when I moved to Florida, and I've noticed big political differences between these 2 places. Very left in California, very right here. And I'll admit it, I liked a little bit of it in California. That's not a thing that gets a lot of applause here, but I'll tell you why. Because now men are the best at everything. We're the best fashion designers, best cooks. On my way here the other day, my last flight, I had an all-male flight attendant crew, and that shit was snappy. We're so good at being women, 2 years ago, we won Woman of the Year. Caitlyn Jenner's the toughest bitch on the whole planet. That guy in the back with the pizza, he's shaking his head no. You think you're tougher than Caitlyn? No. Cut your dick off. No one's cutting their dick off for the love of the game. And I started thinking on the way here, I was like, oh yeah, there is a brand new pussy in those pants. And that's no Green Cove shit. That's no St. Mary's snatch. That was made by the best doctors and wizards and scientists on the planet. And I wonder what it was like for that Frisk guy to jump up in that big Brucey puss. You think he was like, God damn! That's some Olympic gold shit right there. I put that on a box of Wheaties. All right, guys, that's my time. I'm Brandon Follett. Thank you guys so much. God bless America. Bless you all.
God bless America. That's how you're going to end your set. As if you didn't seem white and fireman enough. All right, one more time for Brandon. Give it up one more time for Brandon.